We are going to go over simple songs to build your acoustic guitar repertoire. Each one of these tunes caters to a different aspect of acoustic guitar playing that is valuable for beginner, intermediate, or advanced. These are foundational pieces of your skill set that you should always be working on, and I'm going to go over with each song just what about it makes it valuable to learn. By the way, all these songs sound great, and if you play them for anybody, including yourself, you're gonna have a good time. Let me know in the comments what your favorite acoustic guitar song is. I'd love to hear from you guys. And before we get started, I just want to let you know that this is a preview lesson of what you can find in the brand new acoustic guitar curriculum in Guitar Super System, where I go over a variety of different things from beginning players all the way up to advanced players. We're talking fundamental differences between electric acoustic guitar all the way up to different two-handed techniques and percussive techniques and fingerstyle techniques, finger-picking patterns, strumming patterns, cross-string textures, droning, and pedal tones, fingerstyle solos. It's all in there. So check out the link down in the description if you're interested in subscribing to Guitar Super System. It is full of various curriculums, including music theory, tips, tricks, techniques, beginner's corner for those of you just starting out, exotic scales, and everything in between. And like I mentioned, a brand new acoustic guitar curriculum. You can follow the guided lesson path, or you can choose your own destiny and go at your own pace. It's up to you. Thank you very much for your support. So without further ado, let's get into the songs. We are going to start with Johnny Cash, Hurt. I think this is great because it has that pause on the A minor, which really forces you to work on your internal metronome, that body clock, and really count and have a good time feel. So we have this 3, 4, 3, 4, and you can pick it however you want to. Obviously, the strumming is great, but you can kind of mix it up if you want and work on some of the fingerstyle stuff if you're interested in that. So it's a great introductory riff for those of you starting out to kind of build your finger strength and work on chord transitions. By the way, if you are having any trouble with transitioning chords, this is a pretty simple progression to work on that. But also a cool exercise that you can try is, instead of trying to work on the chord transitions like this, try and take your hand away and then form the chord as quickly as you can when you put your hand back on the guitar neck. So my hand's on my lap, and I'm A minor. I'm gonna do C, D. So see how quickly you can do that. G, A triad, A triad first inversion. So you can test yourself that way and kind of give yourself a little riddle in the fingers. And moving on, we're gonna get to another song that is pretty simple but ultimately recognizable and very valuable to learn. Wagon Wheel. Maybe it's a North Carolina staple, maybe it's a worldwide staple in the bars after midnight. Whatever the case may be, everybody knows this tune, and even if you don't sing the melody, it's one of those songs you can kind of recognize just by the chords. Very loose, but still right in the pocket rhythm going on. It's very simple on the strumming hand and the chord hand, but also just one that kind of grooves and you can play it over and over and it doesn't really get boring. Moving on to the next song, and we're gonna get a little bit more modern with this one. I think it is potentially controversial to put on this list, but it is such a good song. I don't care who you are. It's Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus, Old Town Road, and this is a cool one to actually watch live. Billy Ray Cyrus puts a capo on the 4th fret of his guitar, and there are plenty of great capos out there. This one is a Thalia capo. G7th makes great capos. Arnie Ball makes great capos. You'll find when you use a capo, it makes everything a little bit easier to play as far as the string tension goes. Like, it's easier to press down on the strings. Closer to the capo itself, it's acting as the nut. These chords get a little bit tighter, so you're gonna have to adjust your fingers accordingly. These chords are, again, pretty simple, but they just sound beautiful with the 4th fret capo. And like I said, this is such a memorable song and a more modern one for maybe people who don't know Wagon Wheel or Johnny Cash, even though that would be blasphemy. I think this is a great one just to have in your back pocket. It goes like this. I just know horses in the back. But again, maybe you'll rely on whoever's around you to pick up the lyrics, and it's just a really nice sound. You know, that E major to G to D. I always thought it was E minor, which sounds a little bit more traditional. That major sound is really nice. All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna get a little bit more advanced, but we're gonna use the capo again. And I think you know where this is going. Move that capo down to the 2nd fret. Yes, Wonderwall, I know. It's the biggest meme in the guitar community. Just because guitar players are just little snooty boys and girls just saying, Wonderwall. Oh, anyway, here's Wonderwall. Yes, yes, we get it. It's an old joke. Sort of like the guilty pleasure of every guitar player. It just sounds good. There's a reason it's so popular. It's a valuable little strumming pattern to learn. It's not necessarily straightforward, and if you can get it down, it can be very interesting to convey that strumming pattern to other harmony. Same strumming pattern, cooler chords, different chords. As you can see, there's value in learning songs that are super popular. There's a reason they are so popular, whether it's the chords, the strumming pattern, the melody, the lyrics, what have you. There's always value in pop music, and that is why I included Wonderwall for that really awesome strumming pattern that I have always liked. And you know, now you know Wonderwall, and you can say anyway, here's Wonderwall. You know, that reminds me of a little anecdote. Bethany, my wife, came up the stairs and she was like, "Can you stop playing Wonderwall?" And I said, maybe. Moving on, this is Foo Fighters, Everlong. We're gonna get rid of the capo here, and we're gonna tune down to drop D. So this is a really great one for working on palm muting in both the fretting and picking hand. Normally palm muting is associated with the picking hand, but you're also working on muting some strings in this fretting hand, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Let me play the riff for you, and then we'll break it down. I played a lot of this tune because it's just kind of the one that you should know all those parts, and they're all valuable in their own way. First, we'll start with the picking pattern, and this is pretty important to get down because you can play it incorrectly fairly easily. It won't really make a difference, but there's Foo Fighter purists out there, so you gotta make them happy. This is the pattern itself. So that is for the first two chords. That one, and then this bar. And then when we get down here, it's just straight ahead. The palm muting, it's almost like a half palm mute, because a full palm mute would be like. So we're kind of like letting off a little bit. We still have a bit of palm muting. If we didn't palm mute at all, it would be like. So we have like a halfway. Just to keep everything tidy and really hear each of those notes. And then you can kind of let off the palm mute when you go to this part. That's called dynamics, having that slight fluctuation in volume and feel. It's what makes effective music, in my opinion. So we have that part, and then the next part where there's a bit more palm muting, or I should say string muting in the fretting hand, we have this octave, and we're gonna move this position. This is like the pre-chorus. So that is what we're playing, but we're also letting those strings ring, the two D notes. So we're getting. And then finally this bar. And that's the Foo Fighters for you. Leave a comment down below if you have a recommendation for another tune that would fit into anyone's repertoire, and I appreciate all of your support. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel, and thank you if you decide to subscribe to Guitar Super System. The link is right down below, and until next time.